all need to take. It's the way to freedom. Grace is the key that unlocks true joy and delight in God. It's the gift of all gifts that sets us free from a life of rule-keeping, ushering us into the powerful promise of the empty tomb. Ultimately, our newfound discovery of His grace will make us fall to our faces in adoration of Him, offering our lives to Him as the only option befitting of those who, by no merit of their own, have had every sin forgiven and every provision made. Grace brought heaven to us, since we could never climb there on our own. Grace is God's initiation, beginning to end. It's the invitation that will rearrange our entire grid for living the moment we put our trust in Jesus. We have a Savior who's ready to drown us in this grace, covering every shortcoming and striving with His perfection. This same Savior promises to lift us, grace-drenched, up to true, abundant life. What greater freedom is there than knowing neither our salvation nor our lives depend on our efforts? They are God's creation and His working from beginning to end. By grace, God is carrying your life to the good end that He's laid out for you. I pray this resource makes you hungrier for and more dependent on grace than ever before. I know these pages hold the potential to refresh your view of Jesus and rekindle your love for God. Let them. As you fully recognize what His grace means for you, I believe you'll experience a deep level of meaning and purpose. After all, we can't know who we are until we recognize who God is. This resource will help you greatly to that end. Delight in it. By grace, Louis Giglio, Pastor, Passion City Church, Founder, Passion Conferences.
Introduction. All my life I've heard that the gospel is the good news. And as a working definition, that's fair enough. Gospel was originally conceived as a play on words in a time when the Roman Empire proclaimed the gospel of Caesar, the good news that Caesar's rule was going to usher in peace and prosperity. The Apostle Paul uses the word subversively to say the really good news is the news about the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. But after spending all my adult life as a pastor, I've come to believe that the good news, as conceived by most Christians, isn't really good news at all. It's okay news. It's fine news. I just can't believe that is what God had in mind. For Jesus to come and live and die for us, to have the pretty good news, or at best the better than average news, in reality, the news about what Jesus Christ did for us and what He is in fact still doing is the best news the world has ever heard. The gospel is the key that will unlock your soul and set you free. It's the key that unlocks God's power in every single area of your life. It changes everyone and everything it touches. I want to tell you what I've learned about this best news and how it is revolutionizing my life even now. I don't know where you are or how you are as you listen to this. I know the world feels like a volatile and unstable place right now, no matter where you come from or how you see the world. I know the road is hard on many of us, and the toll can get heavy. If you are collapsing under the weight of sorrow and your heart feels fragile for whatever reason, if you can't imagine swinging your legs over the side of the bed and rising to face the storm one more day, I have certainly written this book with you in mind. But just as much so, I've written this book for people who are not necessarily in the midst of some existential crisis, not necessarily on the verge of total collapse. Of course, we all get to those dire, difficult moments where the journey feels relentless. But I'm writing just as much to those of you who don't feel the road you've been traveling is especially exhilarating. Nor is it so brutal you just can't take it. Or maybe right now the road doesn't feel like much of anything. The long miles keep unfolding monotonously, like driving through those parts of the Midwest when one field starts to become indistinguishable from the rest, or through highway